What's up, everybody? I'm Metal Nick.
I'm Jeff Grindstoffer.
And welcome to episode number 68 of Vinyl Bang. Jeff, do you want to introduce today's guest?
Today, ladies and gentlemen, look at this guy. Easily the best dressed guest we've ever had on Vinyl Bang, Mr. Jeff Sisson, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, Jeff Sisson, give it up.
Oh, thank you. I'm just trying to bring an air of class to Vinyl Bang. Not that it doesn't already have class, but
we are extra classy now, and the pinkies are out. Pinkies are out, everybody. Jeff is, of course, the vocalist for Troglodyte. Jeff is based out of Kansas City, Missouri, by the way. I should include that. Jeff is the vocalist for Troglodyte. He is the vocalist for Hosferatu. He has done a slew of guest appearances on albums. One that I was kind of directly affiliated with, Origin's Unparalleled Universe. You did the guest vocals on the Brujeria cover for I forget the song.
Well, that's it. That is a good one. It's funny. Somebody just asked me about that, and I could have told you 10 seconds ago.
Right. Camera shy. Shout out to our buddies in Origin who will no longer talk to us after they watch this episode. He's done live appearances with Unmerciful. I don't even want. We don't have enough time for me to go into what all Jeff's done. He's also a special effects. He is a filmmaker, a music video maker. Let's just let the man tell you what he does. He's amazing. This man in a suit.
Try to pay the bills. Just paying the bills, whatever it takes. I've just kind of I got into the movie stuff years ago, and I actually relocated myself out to LA for a while, and I found out pretty quickly it's like the more you know, the more you're going to work. So it's like, oh, you've already got an effects guy. You know what? I actually did production design on this last movie. Oh, we need that guy. Okay, So that was kind of where all the, it was whatever I could do. I just had to, you got to pay the bills. So it's like, you got to figure it all out. And I think it all came back around when I started doing the music videos and directing those. And, you've had your hands on a little bit of everything. So you have a better understanding of what it takes to put the stuff together. And, that's how I've always been. I've just tried to keep myself busy. I'm sure I'm forgetting 10 other things that I'm probably have my hands in that I'm just not remembering. So
yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it because I'm always like finding out, like watching some B movie or something, like, hey, I know that guy. I know that. No, guy. I know Jeff.
Yeah, it's funny. I was on Instagram the other day, and it's one of these. It was a podcast that I happen to follow. And, man, they were talking about some movie I'd worked on. I was just like, well, there you go. So
small world.
It was a stinker, by the way. Let's just go ahead and get that out of the way.
Oh, quit. Quit. But and also to add to the list, Jeff is now our lawyer for Vinyl Bang. He is a quid pro quo attorney at law for any
imagine opening up
that we may encounter.
If you had something, it's like, well, we'll jump on a Zoom. Well, I mean, if you open that up and saw me sitting there in the Zoom, I'd be like, oh man, this guy means business. Look at that suit.
Hey, we don't want no trouble with the guy in the suit. All right, we
It's ridiculous. We'll see how cool it is about an hour from now when I'm just, oh Jesus, oh. If the jacket comes off, it's serious. So.
But anyway, we've invited Jeff onto the show to talk about some albums. Talk about some records in your collection, and I'm excited to see what you got, buddy.
I'm excited to really see how absolutely depressed you are when you hear me talk about some of these albums I'm getting ready to roll out for you. So I'm not I was just saying, I was like, I don't think I'm your typical, of course, you can't see it, like over here in the dark hole, there's this whole wall of vinyl and most of it is stuff that I've had since I was probably a kid that like, I just kind of listened to it and bought it organically. I don't consider myself much of a collector. and you'll figure this out really quick, Jeff. This is really, like, it's I'm very utilitarian. I buy it to listen to it. I don't collect them to sit on the shelf, and I have one copy unless I, for some reason, forget that I already have one, or I have one that's scratched or something like that. So, and I'm not knocking anybody who collects. I get it, man. It's just I've always been like I want to listen to this stuff. I don't, it's like that's, I know it's crazy. So, but I mean, I know, I'm sure people too, and I don't know if you guys. I know there's some, like, you have some, but like, there's people who buy this stuff. They don't even have a record player, or they ever listen to it. So it's like it's kind of like head scratching to me. I guess it's like, you have a record player. I
do now, but for years I didn't. I just collected them just to have them. But
yeah, no, and and again, it's always been a very for a few years when I think everybody was listening to digital music. It was like, and everybody had an iPod, and they were, it kind of was ruining music for me, because you've got like 10,000. You're sitting there going through. It's like listening to 10 seconds of your 10,000 songs. So I got rid of it, and I kind of went back, like, this is my office, and this is kind of where, if I'm writing or I do anything, and I come in here and I throw a record on, and that's what I do, man. It's like, it's very tactile. I love being able to see a big presentation of the art. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is really cool. When you can see, it's like, wow, that looks really cool, I think. So, but it's just always been very tactile for me. So I don't keep this is another, okay, this is really good. Don't keep my albums in order. No order at all. It makes me go through and look, and I'll go to listen to something. This is my thing. So I grab something, and I give myself, I don't necessarily have to listen to what I grab, but it's either on one side or the other, or this. So I've got like three I can pick from.
Right.
So when I go to grab something, it's like, oh yeah, I'll listen to this. It's stupid. I know it's stupid.
Why we don't hang out more, I don't know.
Sounds like you like to live dangerously, but yeah, let's see what you got, man. Let's dive into this collection.
And I was watching one of the shows. You guys were talking about soundtracks, and I can't remember who your guest was. Now I'm trying to think about this. Maybe it was Kaiser. Yeah, I feel like you've talked about soundtracks from time to time. I really love soundtracks. Not really. I'm going to start off like I gotta jump right into this one. Not really a soundtrack, but this is like, dude, I got to tell you, when you have somebody over and you're really looking to set the mood, it's Charlton Heston reading the Bible. Dude, it's pretty.
Show's over.
Yeah, I mean, look. I paid 70 cents for this, like, and I felt like, yeah, I'll give it a. And like, the only thing holding this together is the plastic that I put it in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was really, like, I brought it home and I had to do a vigorous cleaning. Like, I was scared to even play it. Oh, it's terrific, man. It's really good. Anyway, sorry. Charlton Heston. It's the Life of Christ. He's reading several books from the Bible. I have to move the old man glass. And there's also a music, light music accompaniment behind him. It's really nice.
As there should be. Another first.
Yeah, no, come on, the guys. He's Moses, for crying out loud. I would be, so one of my all-time okay, so there's soundtracks and scores.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of my all-time favorite soundtracks. Don't know if you're familiar. This film called Cruising, Al Pacino movie. It's very controversial when it came out. He goes undercover into the gay S&M world to find a serial killer. William Friedkin is the director. Guy who did The Exorcist and French Connection. It was, like I said, very controversial when it came out. I love the music in this. Is great. It's just I've always loved it. And for years you couldn't. It was out of print, and then I think who put this out? I think it's Waxworks did this like crazy, like, look at that. You can see it's basically awesome. It's like a slasher movie. I mean, it really is. I mean, this is like think there's 3 records in this thing. It's crazy. So that's one of my favorites, though. It's just got this very eclectic music. Like it was kind of coming out of the disco era, so there's a little bit of like, I don't even know how to, like, I know the Germs, there's some Germ songs on there. That's the only place they recorded, like, I think 6 songs for the movie. I'm a big punk fan too, so it's just a very weird mix. After you see the movie, it sets a tone. It's a very unsettling movie, and not probably in the way that you think it is.
So real quick, so like the original thing that you showed was that a soundtrack, and then after that the waxwork thing.
So no, this is a soundtrack. That's the original one that was out, and then it was out of print for years, and then Waxworks, because, and again, part of the reason it was out of print because like the gay community like was so up in arms when this movie was getting made. They're like, you're going to make everybody's going to think that we're all into leather and S&M, and we, but really, like, so it was Al Pacino. He kind of like, he disowned the movie. He never really talks about it. But it kind of found its audience over the years. It's very slasher-esque. It's very the Italian giallo films. It's very slasher. And you know, again, when you see that, like the crazy knife, it's a trippy movie.
It's
they reissued this.
Is it more of a score than a soundtrack?
No, this is the same. It's literally the same thing. It's a soundtrack. It's but they just did it up right. They dug up some of the music that they didn't use originally, like some of the Germ songs that they didn't use in the movie, but they found the original recording. So like one whole side is just the Germs. If you like them, great. If you don't, I get that. But it's literally it's the same thing. It's just expounded, or expanded, I guess.
Nice. I've never heard of an Al Pacino slasher movie ever, and I'm intrigued.
Yeah, they used. It's funny because I saw you called out the Hateful Eight, like in one of the episodes. And it's funny because Tarantino is notorious. His soundtracks are usually made of songs from other movies. So like in the Hateful Eight, I think I think he uses a track from Ennio Morricone's The Thing in the Hateful Eight. But I know he used one of the songs in his Death Proof from the Cruising soundtrack, which is pretty interesting. It shows up in the Death Proof, the movie, the Grindhouse.
The Kurt Russell, and there's a whole tangent on that I won't even go into, but yeah, that's awesome, dude. An Al Pacino slasher movie that I always like. A great start with the suit and the wow.
I'm trying to keep it classy. Yeah, and you know William Friedkin, you know everybody knows him from The Exorcist and you know French Connection among other things, and you know he came in and when this movie came out again, people were just like, what are you thinking, dude? And it kind of laid pretty low for years. But when you watch it now, there's so much going on. It's a trippy movie.
Awesome.
If you like horror movies, I would recommend it, especially if you like kind of like Italian slasher movies. I would definitely recommend it.
That is next on the watch list for sure. Or track it down. Or come over to your house and watch it.
So I'm going to go to a score now. How about Michael Mann's Thief? This is a score by Tangerine Dream. I don't know if you guys ever talk about Tangerine Dream. They've done the scores to a ton of movies, probably. I mean, a lot of movies through this, especially through the late '70s, early '80s. They did the score to Legend, the Tom Cruise, Ridley Scott, crazy fantasy thing. But Thief is one of my favorite movies, and if you haven't seen it, this was Michael Mann. Years later, he did a movie called Heat, which most people have seen.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the kind of the prototype for Heat. A lot of the themes and stuff that show up in Heat, he kind of already explored in Thief. I think Thief's a better movie. That's my 10 cents. The score's amazing. If you haven't dipped your toes in the Tangerine Dream, I totally recommend that. It's a really good. It's a great movie, and it's got this really driving, like if you don't know Tangerine Dream, there's just not a lot of there's not a lot of bands that sound like him, and it's really good. Especially when I think about the movie too. It's like, would this movie work as well if it didn't have this like really badass score? Probably, but it's really good. It's really good.
Okay.
And James Caan, Willie Nelson's in this. He's not in it much. It's like the first movie he was ever in. He kind of went on, and kind of the same deal too here. I think Mondo put out like a more badass version of this. It's the same thing, so it's a little easier to find now. But yeah, Tangerine Dream, really, really good stuff, man. And it's, like I said, they also did. This is another one that they did. Another William Friedkin movie, Sorcerer. This movie's kind of like it's a trip. It's a trip. It's a remake of a French film called Wages of Fear, and basically they're trying to haul these trucks full of this nitroglycerin that's like sweating. So when it sweats it's dynamite that's sweating nitroglycerin. So it's completely unstable. They're driving it through the Amazon. I mean, dude, it's like it kind of starts off as this heist, and you're like, okay, where's this going? And it takes about a half hour to get going, and then it turns into this crazy, just white knuckle. But again, the music makes this movie, man. It's like, would this movie be as good as it would be without the music? Probably, yeah, but it's really good. Right. Tangerine Dream. I don't know if I've ever heard anybody talk about them on the show.
No, I am unfamiliar with almost anything that they've done. I mean, I'm not familiar with Tangerine Dream at all. Now, for the first two that you brought out an OG and a repress. What is your preferred? What is your preferred format? Would you rather listen to the OG or the remastered?
I'm not gonna lie. I usually listen to the OG more, just because like that cruising's really nice and it sounds really good. But it's like 3 albums. I'm like, and I think they've kind of added more and spread it out. I'm kind of used to the OG. It's the same thing with Thief. The Thief is it's pretty much the same. I think they did a remastering pass on it, so it definitely sounds a little brighter, a little louder. But that doesn't mean that it sounds better to me. Like, I know there's always the argument about being loud, and you don't. I mean, your record doesn't need to be loud. You can turn up the volume. They push that too much, so they get really hot and they sound all distorted and stuff. Right. But yeah, I like the OG.
Good answer. Good answer.
That's my take on it. So, yeah, I find myself, I buy them, and then it's like I listen to them once. It's like, yeah, that's great. Okay, let me go back to the one that's probably actually worth actual money that I'm destroying every time I listen to it, slowly peeling away plastic with every listen. So, but yeah, that's kind of my take on that. So,
absolutely, yeah.
There's no wrong answer.
Yeah. Jeff Sisson, attorney at law. You can do no wrong.
Okay, soundtrack. This is a good soundtrack. Again, one of my favorites. I don't know. It doesn't get the love. So Jimmy Page did the score to Death Wish 2. You ever heard this? It's on Swan Song. It's actually on Swan Song. It's on their imprint.
Wow. I've seen the movie. I've never made the connection. Wow.
Yeah, no, and when you watch the movie, the music's great in this. And the first one, Herbie Hancock did the score, and it's a good score, but this is definitely it definitely is 70s seedy, because the second one all takes place in LA. He leaves New York and he goes to LA. Great soundtrack. I'm not like a huge Led Zeppelin fan by any stretch of the more so than anybody else, I guess. But I love this one, and I looked for it for a long time. And it's obviously a promo. It's because it's got the sticker, and I think on the back it's got the gold stamp. It's like, you got to return it if we ask for it. Bullshit. So when I found this online, this was years ago, and I ordered it from the guy, and I mean, maybe $10, with postage. So I kid you not, it showed up in a manila envelope with no cardboard, no padding, nothing. Like I'm like, oh my god, and it wasn't broken. I mean, I try that now. I mean,
Oh yeah, no.
I was shocked, dude. I almost like, oh my god, dude. I couldn't believe it. Because I was like, what is this? It was like literally just a manila envelope. The guy just shoved it in the mail and was like, good luck, bud. But great.
Wow.
That's a good score that, again, most people, I don't know if they listen to. I'm not even sure. And again, like I assume a lot of this is streaming. Maybe it's not. I don't know.
I wouldn't imagine. Whenever it panned to you the first time, I started looking up the Charlton Heston thing on Spotify, and it's not there. So far, we're like,
what a shocker! Somebody on YouTube has there's probably they set it up on a record player and just film it playing.
Right.
That would be huge Ennio Morricone fan right here. I love that you guys talk about him. Everybody, Good, Bad, and the Ugly, obviously, is the one that everybody probably knows him for. And The Thing, I love The Thing, which it's minimalist music at its best. But for my money, Once Upon a Time in the West. Did you ever see this one? Another troll. Oh, that. Another Sergio Leone movie. The guy who did Good, Bad, and the Ugly. The Clint Eastwood Man with No Name stuff. But this one is really good. Henry Fonda plays a bad guy in this. And Henry Fonda, obviously, I don't know if Henry Fonda was old school Hollywood. He never played a bad guy. And he was so bad in this movie that he regretted doing it for years. But it's a great movie. Dario Argento, the horror director from Suspiria, he wrote it. It was one of the first things that he wrote. But the music's amazing. The music's amazing, and I think, and again, I think to this point, I think Tarantino used some of the cues in Hateful Eight from this. Don't quote me on that. But I think he did. It's good. And if you haven't, definitely a movie worth watching if you've never seen it. So
again, never heard of it, but I'm definitely intrigued. Definitely intrigued by that because that just.
It's funny because I feel like when they finally, for years you couldn't see it it wasn't on DVD. It certainly wasn't. This was before Blu-rays, and when they finally put it out on DVD, it was kind of a big deal. And there's like a whole section of like the bonus features and stuff. It's literally just all these directors like John Carpenter, John Milius, Francis Ford Coppola, like all these like esteemed George Lucas, I think, just talking about this movie and how it changed, because it is. I mean, block off 3+ hours of your life, because it's epic. It's epic. I mean, it is. It's like a 3+ hour movie, but the payoff, oh, it's so good. I'd take off my jacket and show you the goosebumps, but I can't because I'm keeping it classy.
Don't do it.
So,
don't ruin the image.
Can't do it. Nick's like, what in the hell have I gotten myself into?
You're so close to passing the job interview. I don't want you to take off your coat yet.
I hope I get it. I'll send the application over. We're just gonna keep moving. We're just keeping right on. One of my favorites, Trick or Treat soundtrack, Fastway. OG. I know they put this out. This thing is so. That's the one good thing about when they reissue stuff. Like this thing feels so flimsy and thin by today's standards. It's like, but yeah, great. And I've listened to this thing a million times. Just I'm not even. I don't even own another Fastway album. I feel like I listened to them once and I didn't like it as much as this, so I just stopped. But great movie. They finally put it out. It had never been out on DVD or Blu-ray. I think they just did that at the end of last year. Really good, fun little movie. It's good, man. I like that one.
Awesome.
I know what I was going to tell you. I feel like do you guys ever talk? Has anybody ever talk about like comedy albums?
Yeah, Jason Kaiser. He had like the Rodney
dude,
Dangerfield.
So when I was a kid, man, that was kind of my jam. Like I always loved, but I had like, and it was funny. So when I was thinking about this stuff, I pulled out like, have you ever seen this? Like this Cheech and Chong? It's like, uh, it's uh, it's OD40. It's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be like a Quaalude, like, and it's die cut, and you can't even really open this thing. That's how dude. It's the craziest. Like I never see anybody talk about this stuff. Like all the Cheech and Chong albums, they spent stupid money on making these. Because I know like there's a Big Bamboo, which you open it up, and it had like a rolling paper inside of it, like it, which. Um, but I was always a fan. I always had like these crazy comedy albums that I really loved. Like, uh, I mean, who doesn't love Red Fox?
Yeah.
You got to wash your ass, dude. See,
Yeah.
see, he's with the. There he is. He's washing his ass. See,
There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Who's has anyone talked about Red Fox albums on here?
I don't
Didn't
think so,
I think
dude.
maybe Kaiser had no.
No.
Who did he have? He showed Rodney Dangerfield and
He had Dice Clay.
yes,
Dice.
and Don Rickles. And he said
Don Rickles.
because he made
Yes,
the
you definitely won't be playing. You won't be hearing any of those anytime soon.
he made the comment that he had to shut his window when he was playing that record. He didn't want the neighbors to hear it.
Right.
I don't even think I would play them. I've got a couple of those, like some Carlin,
I
and
think
they're really good, man. I was trying to think. What's that?
between Jeff and myself, I think so far we both only have like Mitch Hedberg, right?
Yeah. That's the only comedy album I have is Mitch Hedberg. But like, I didn't grow up with it. I didn't grow up listening.
I don't even. Yeah, I feel like I had a buddy that would buy those, and then he would end up like he didn't want them, or they would just they ended up with me somehow. Mm-hmm. So I've got this like glut of these like, especially Cheech and Chong. Like there's one called the Wedding Album, and again, like when you look at them, it's really hard to find them where they're in really good shape.
Sure. So for me,
so much. What's that?
Well, I mean, for the most part, like when I grew up, or when I was getting into comedy albums, either a stand-up comedy album. The first one I remember really listening to, which was it had skits on it, was that Adam Sandler. They're all laughing at you, right?
Yeah.
That was as a teenager. I didn't, I always knew Bill Cosby and Steve Murphy.
Yeah.
They all are. No, Steve Murphy. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. Steve Martin.
Steve Martin.
All these people had comedy albums. Eddie Murphy, he had a comedy. They all had comedy albums. But like when I started listening to everybody's putting out CDs, like my personal favorite is a Dave Attell one, but it's only on CD. Comedy Central's put it out, but
yeah,
there's nothing like I don't have.
And Cheech and Chong were interesting because they were the skit guys. Most everybody else was like Richard Pryor and
Red Fox,
Bill Cosby's. They did material, and Cheech and Chong were pretty edgy, and they would do these. I mean, the skits are great. I mean, and they built their movie career around that. So, and they're funny as hell, dude. Some of those, and it's not all weed centric. That's what's great. It's like, I mean, if that's your thing, awesome. If not, that's cool too. But they're so funny. They're so funny. I can remember my old man just like gasping for air, trying to like, you'd have to stop him because he was laughing so hard he missed half the stick. It was really funny. So, awesome. What else do we got down here? I was trying to see like I had any weirdo stuff. Like, I think we touched on. Oh, dude! Like I'm just going like through my favorites, man. That's just what I listen to. It was real easy for me to like pull like this stuff because it's all like there's like a place like a crate that I just keep my favorites. That's my go-to when I don't want to do the poll. Sure. But like this one, and this is like I don't know who put this out. This is like this is trying to get the glare. You can see how pristine shrink wrap is still on here, which I think is a no-no, right?
Sure, depending on the album.
This is the Dawn of the Dead soundtrack, the George Romero.
Oh, nice.
Dawn of the Dead, by Goblin, and it was funny because I had like it's my favorite. Like I've got Suspiria. That's another Dario Argento, and This one is Profondo Rosso, I think is known as Deep Red. These are all Goblin. Great stuff. Italian like prog rock band that they got tapped to do a soundtrack. They were like Dario Argento is like this horror director, and he did this movie Profondo Rosso, Deep Red, and he wanted to hire Pink Floyd to do the music. And I don't know if it was like a money thing or they just weren't interested. They're like, well, what are we going to do? And one of the producers like, well, there's this band Goblin, and they were more prog rock, but they took it and they totally ran with it, and they kind of became known for doing they're known more for their horror soundtracks, and they're really good, and it's very 70s. It's thumping, and it's interesting music. If you've ever seen Dawn of the Dead is my favorite though. That score is it's great. I really like that one.
I have that on cassette. I got that.
Yeah,
recently. I found it on cassette. I don't even remember where it was.
This one's awesome. So this is a great soundtrack. Return of the Living Dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this one because there were so many bands I had never heard of until I listened to this that became some of my favorite bands. Like I remember getting this on cassette, and it had the Cramps, the Damned, Rocky Erickson, who was amazing, his song in the movie. And then, but like every band on here I love, like especially like here's one. I put it right here, like 45 Grave. They do Party Time. It's on that.
Okay.
This is Sleep and Safety. If you don't, these guys kind of invented the whole goth rock or whatever you want to call it. But it's good. It's really good. Especially if you like that song from Return of the Living Dead. They kind of did a more up-tempo version for the movie. But 45 Grave, you can, there'd be no typo negative without these guys. So you can blame them if that's not your thing. Or you can thank them. So
now that Return of the Living Dead soundtrack, is that an OG?
Oh yeah.
Oh, so jealous. God, I would love to have.
Is that I don't even know. Have they repressed it? I'm sure they've repressed this.
Oh, it's been repressed so many times. I actually got that. I don't remember the name of the record store that's across the street from where the Riot Room used to be. You remember that record store? Downtown.
Oh, it's still there. Mills.
Yeah,
it's still there.
I got a repress from there. I can't remember why I was in town for.
Probably it's like this is an OG one. I've had this a long time. Awesome. But again, it's so thick. And I feel like I can hear when I do that. It's like these old ones, or some of these are just really, really thin. Or I've just listened to it so much, I'm just slowly grooving away plastic with every listen. So
sure.
But I got a good one. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna keep rolling. I'm on fire. I'm on fire. Here, hang on.
the pinky. Such a classy episode of Vinyl Mag this week.
I got to share this one. Foreskin 500. Mustache Ride. Never heard of it?
No.
Okay. So I had never heard of these guys. So I was in Lawrence. I can tell you exactly when this was, Jeff. So I was in Lawrence, and this was probably when, because I don't do a lot of record. I had records, but I never did a lot of record buying. And I had went down. It seemed like every time I was in town, Love Garden was closed.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just there too late, or they were whatever. So I went down there, and it was when Origin was in town, and they were touring with like Aborted and I think Battlecross. It was a stacked bill. I think Decrepit Birth was supposed to play, but they dropped off.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not entirely for sure. I think maybe Trog did play. So anyway, so I went down the street, and I was like, holy crap, they're open. And I don't know about you. When I go into a record store, I know there's a million things I want to look for. And I'm always kind of been like, I want to try to find it. I know I can buy anything I want on the internet at any time.
Sure.
I kind of still like, if I'm looking for something, I try to find it, because that's cool, right?
Right.
And of course, I'm in the record store 10 seconds. I am sensory overload. I can't remember my last name. I don't remember what I was looking for. I'm just like, So I'm looking around. I'm just looking at stuff. So I come across this, and I knew the guys. I knew the name. I'd never heard them, but I've switched it on the back now. But this was on the front, and I'm going to read it to you because this is why I bought this. So it says Foreskin 500 Mustache Ride. I paid a staggering $6 for this. So, which I thought was kind of high. I was like, well, I don't know. So, whoever put this out, they put this on. So I saw this band at the Rumba Box in Kansas City in 1992. I was 14 years old, and what I remember most was that the lead singer was wearing nothing but sheer pantyhose and Converse high tops. And that if my mom would have found out where I had been, I would have been grounded for life. So that's literally why I bought this album, was this whole story that was written in little stickers on the side. And it actually is a really good album. But this story, it was like, I'd never seen anybody write a tome like this about an album and how, but yeah, who could, it's on it's on Boner Records, which is, that's enough to make me want to buy it too. Black Cadillac. I remember Black Cadillac is a precursor to, I feel like I maybe had heard these guys because they used a chainsaw in that song, and I kept thinking Jackal had ripped them off. So we can blame them for Jackal.
Foreskin 500. Now, okay, just real quick. Here in a couple of weeks, whenever is Origin's going to be in town, we should go back to Love Garden, and I want you to find me that record. I want to go with you to Love Garden, and I want to find that record again at the Origin show.
What I probably would have to do is take it with me. I can't imagine. I don't know how many of these are still in the wild.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think that there's a lot.
I wouldn't imagine.
Come on, Mustache. Awesome. I mean, Mustache Ride. I don't know, man. If that story hadn't been on the front here, I might have still bought it for Mustache Ride.
Sure,
I kind of like that sometimes.
And $6, dude. I mean, that have to break a 10. I mean, come on.
For years, I worked near a Half Price Books, and this is probably the mid 2000s, before records had really caught fire again. So I would go up there, and you could buy stuff for $2-3. Nobody cared then. So you'd go in there, and I remember specifically going in. It was like, and looking around and going, "Gosh, man, I wish." I don't know, man. I'd love to go in and find something. What was it I found in there? I was just like so giddy. Like, I was like, oh man, I wish they had a copy of Vinnie Vincent Invasion for $2. I like this one.
Nice.
Which these, and then they got the great pictures on the back. But so this is what Slaughter came from, Vinnie Vincent Invasion. Not that anybody needs to know that, but if you're ever wondering where that band Slaughter come from, they kicked out Vinnie Vincent, and then they became Slaughter and sold bajillion records. Good for them, right?
Nice.
Huge fan of these guys. Prong.
Mm-hmm. Good album.
Beg to differ. I mean, this is just shit I just listened to. Huge influence on Wilson and I when we were doing Trog. Necrophagia.
Nice.
I know I mentioned I went back to that first album that we never put out, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
I should. It's like we were trying to rip off Necrophagia. I feel like, but these I knew Frank a little bit when I lived in LA. We had exchanged some emails, and he was a super nice guy, and he would always I feel like the White Worm Cathedral, like it's got the set list. He gave that to me when they played in Lawrence. Good stuff, man. I always like these guys. Holocausto de la Muerte. I mean, it's, I think, and this is the stuff that I think Phil was on this one playing guitar, but I like those guys. They don't get it, especially considering when they were playing that. This one's a good one. Not a big record store day guy. Not a big record store day guy. Mm-hmm. I like to I go to the record store all the time, so why should I just wait till one day a year, right?
Sure.
But when they finally put out Macho Man's album on vinyl, that's worth getting out of the house for. Please tell me you've heard this.
So, like, I'm a huge wrestling fan, and the crazy thing is, maybe I want to say 6 months before that came out, Tony Foresta from Municipal Waste had posted on his Instagram that he had a copy of that album, and I hit him up like, "Where'd you get that?" He sent me a link. So somebody had bootlegged it, and then Record Store Day happened. That was like the official one, and then
Oh,
I think
dude.
maybe a year later, then Newberry Comics put out like their version of it. But like, I do have
Yeah.
that. I bought it because why the fuck not? I actually have some wrestling albums, but like that's fucking rad. I love that the Macho Man put out a diss track on
If you've
Hulk.
never listened to it, even if you're not going to, you've got to get online and listen to it. It is so, like, I was late to the game on this one. I knew that he had done it, but I'd never heard it. And I feel like Langner from Trog had turned me on to it. And I'm like, what? I'm like, and dude, I mean, my mind was just, blown when I listened to it. It's honestly not the worst thing in the world I've ever heard, but there's so many dude, it's just like, it's totally worth listening to, man. And, again, for me to get excited about trying to track it down, even though I know damn well, it's like, I'll be able to find one 3 months after Record Store Day for half the price, so, but I had to splurge, dude. Love these guys.
Yes. River runs red.
Dude, I had a buddy. He used to get he would get the promos, the cutout or whatever, where you get a CD with the stamp through the UPC, and he would get stuff from Roadrunner, and this was one that he got. He hated it. And he just gave me the CD, and it was before it came out, which this has been out. Was it like 92 or something? Maybe, is that right? 93. There's probably not a week that goes by that I don't listen to this. I love it, man. It's so
phenomenal
good.
album. Phenomenal album. There's some heavy duty riffs on that record. Like I remember the first time hearing that being like, wow, like this is some heavy shit and great, just great fucking band. I didn't like anything they did after that. I remember seeing it at Ozfest '98 with Whitfield Crane on vocals, but that record is fucking legendary.
It's like Alice in Chains. I like Alice in Chains now, but it's not the same animal without Lane. And like his voice is just nobody sound. The second you hear it, you know who it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. It's just amazing.
And real quick factoid about Life of Agony: they were featured in an episode of The Office.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, we always get excited in our house. Everybody knows Life of Agony, so it's like, oh, look, that's when Dwight's listening. Dwight loves some metal, so he was jamming on some River Runs Red.
Yes.
I didn't pull them out. The one I don't know if we've ever talked about this, Jeff, but my favorite band is Ministry. I love Ministry. I've got every album. I have every album. Except for Last Sucker, which I guess is just almost impossible to get. Because I feel like it's they did a very I think they made a couple hundred, and it was like one of those lenticular album covers. I've never even seen one. I've never even seen someone selling one for some ridiculous price. But I love them, dude. My favorite band. I didn't even drag them down. I was just like, it's like talk about Charlton Heston.
Gotta make time for Charlton Heston. No, we were talking about Ministry whenever I was going to come out for the Ministry Melvin show a couple of years ago. But anyway, yeah.
No, I can't get him. Besides Ministry, Alice Cooper, huge Alice Cooper fan. When I was a kid, I had a cousin. I still have a cousin. He got me into kind of records and stuff, and he would buy stuff for me when he was out, and this was before I was driving even. So, but he would always bring me Alice Cooper. He knew, and I loved Alice Cooper. Always have loved Alice Cooper. And so I've got all of Alice Cooper's stuff on vinyl, and probably the only person that I've got. There's a couple of them I've got doubles of because they've gotten scratched or worn out over the years. But so he gave me this boot, and I'm not a bootleg person, but he brought this to me. He says, "Hey man, if you want this, if you don't, I'll just keep it." But this is the Puke on a Piece of Apple Pie.
Nothing. I've never. Okay, elaborate, please.
Dude, it's. I mean, it's a complete bootleg, and it's on Discogs. That's what's crazy. So it's like, I think a lot of these songs. I think for years they would put out these kind of like, I don't think they were completely up and up cassette versions that had this track listing on there, but like, who thought Puke on a Piece of Apple Pie was a good name for an album? And it's like, dude, I mean, this is your, I mean, it's shockingly, the quality is shockingly good, except for the art, the photocopy or artwork with the woman with the snake in her mouth, and the name of the album itself is pretty horrific. I'm like, what possessed you to buy that? By the way, I'm just curious. He's like, it's Alice Cooper. I didn't think you had it. I'm like, well, I'm kind of glad because I guess it's something people look for. It's one of my favorites.
Yes.
This is the Southern Lord pressing. I mean, they all sound as good as they're ever going to sound. I mean, you know, I know Relapse has put this out a half dozen times since then too. But I know Scott and I know Matt Olivo, the guitar player. Matt gave this to me. It kind of kicked off. They had worked on this a long time. It kind of, I hadn't really been into albums for a long time, and he gave it to me, and it kind of got mid 2000s. It kind of got me back into like listening to my records and stuff again. But so good. I really like this, man. But it's you know, it sounds as good as it's ever going to sound, and doesn't sound very good at all. But that's part of its charm, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've got just this is, you know, I was going to show like the stuff that I got to show. Oh, I know you've seen this. Everybody, I mean, just a favorite, Carcass. I love Carcass. I've got all their stuff, but County Medical Examiners. You guys
dude. My God, that's awesome.
Yeah. Big fan of these guys. The CD, I don't know so Relapse put this one out. So the CD, I don't know if you guys ever heard this or remember this. So when they put the CD out, it kind of came in it looked like a little bat, like a sleeve. And when you open the CD up, Sony had come up with this, like, I know this is Vinyl Bang, but I wish the record was this way. That's why I'm telling this. So on the label, Sony had come up with this technology, and this was in the early 2000s. It was like a scratch and sniff, but you just kind of rub your finger on it, and the CD smelled like formaldehyde.
Wow.
So if you put it in your car, this is what was great. You put it in your car, and you know, by nature, CDs, they get warm when they play.
Mm-hmm.
So your car would reek of formaldehyde.
Formaldehyde. Wow.
And, I've got, it's floating around the office as a curio of oddities in here, but I know I've still got it because I was like, oh wow, I did have the CD, I forgot, and it still stinks like formaldehyde when you rub your finger on it. It's insane that it still does. I love ZZ Top. I don't know what. This is my favorite, Tres Hombres, and especially these London recordings. I really liked ZZ Top, and when I think Eliminator, that was when they kind of made their comeback in the 80s. I'm like really old. I'm like 70, so I don't know if but they put all that stuff, and I had records, but it was just everybody was buying CDs then. And Eliminator came out, and that was, you know, that was their big comeback. So I kind of got me back into the old catalog, and they put everything out on CD, and all the CDs, they replaced the drums, even for all their old ones, with that laser, like, pew, 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 you know. So they sounded like garbage. So for years, the only way you could get those was these London releases, the original releases. And This one's my favorite though. I love ZZ Top, man, and it's just a good man. It's just a really good sounding album.
I'm not well versed in ZZ Top. I mean, like a lot of people, I know their hits, but from what I've heard of that album, it's so good. That's the album that I want so bad. Precious and Grace, dude.
Oh yeah, I mean you've heard everybody. That's the album everybody. Oh, we're going to cover a deep cut. Well, now all the deep cuts are hits, or the things that everybody knows because other people cover them.
Sure.
You know, and it's real, like, you know, it's really good stuff, man. It's really good stuff. Scat Brothers, who could forget these guys?
Scat Brothers.
Scat, like poop. Scat. Right. They had one hit called "Walk the Night." It's the very last song. It's an awesome song. I looked for this one for a long time, man, and it looks like it. That was just sitting here. I got some other stuff like, man, I'm just all over the place with my music.
Yes, you are. That's what we want. That's what we want, dude. I didn't want you coming on here talking about cattle decapitation and shit. I want you to talk about fart barf.
Dude, this is the speaking. So I saw we have a mutual friend in that band, and they were playing a festival, or they were playing a show. I think it was out in San Diego that they were playing, and I saw, you know, and it had the list of everybody, and I saw Fart Barf was on the list. I'm like, what? Fart Barf. And I looked, I you know, and again, this is their only 439 out of 500. I didn't even realize this was numbered. 2014, so it's about 11 years old. But I Googled these guys, and this picture comes up of these three guys. They're wearing like NASA flight suits and Neanderthal masks. So needless to say, the guy who plays in a band that wears a mask, I had to check it out. It's really, really good, though. It's really good stuff. I can't even. Yeah, it's just. It became an instant favorite of mine. So, and I always, I know, it's funny. So I was looking through this stuff. I don't know if we ever had this conversation, Jeff. I don't want colored albums. I want black.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, we have talked about this. Yeah.
I want black. Like, I don't know why that is. It like, cause you know, I put the Trog out and everybody was like, oh, are you doing like a colored album? I'm like, yeah, we're doing Onyx. I don't know if anyone got it. So,
I saw the post that you made about the Onyx color. I'm like,
yeah, dude, like,
there it is. There,
and that's a hard one to get. That's a hard one to get.
It is.
That was I think it was European only, maybe.
Yeah.
Am I right on that?
Yeah, because you hit me up asking if I knew of anybody that had it, and I like
wanted a black one.
And, yeah, just a black.
Again, one of my all-time favorite bands that no one's ever heard of. You're like, you even have any idea what this is?
No.
This is Masters of Reality. They, I don't have one. I don't know if they originally. They call this the Blue Garden version. Originally, this was they recorded with Rick Rubin, and it was put out on Delicious Vinyl. I don't know if they ever put out a vinyl version on Delicious Vinyl. Love that album though, and this is the same album. They just went back. There's a different order of the songs for some reason, but one of my favorite bands of all time. Chris Goss is the mastermind behind this, and he produced. He's kind of the Low Desert sound guy. I mean, that's Caius and like a lot of those bands wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Chris. Chris produced like I think he did an STP album, but again, like it reminds me of like that first time you listen to Life of Agony. Like the music's really heavy, the vocal approach is not, and it's something a little different. But I don't know a better album than this. Again, constant rotation for years. Really, really good stuff. Again, when they put this out, they couldn't give it away. And they tried. I think they had one of the songs from this album ended up being on a Steven Seagal movie, Marked for Death, and then they had a video where they cut in some of them playing with some Steven Seagal chop sake, or doing his thing, and they still couldn't give it away. But it's a great, great album, man. Masters of Reality, and they've got several albums. Sunrise on the Suffer Bus, I think, is the one that they did after this, and Ginger Baker played drums with them, and they toured pretty heavily on that one. But again, nobody. It's sad they never really got their due, and he's still putting out albums. It's just and they've got a ton of albums, and they're kind of hard to come by on vinyl. You can find them, streaming and on CD sometimes, but really good stuff. If you've never heard it, I would definitely check into that one. It's the self-titled one. It's really good.
I'm looking into that right now.
It's something different, I listen because I do. I listen to a little bit of everything, and I got my favorites. Oh, this is a great one, dude. You guys ever talk about the Cult Electric?
No, another first.
Another Rick Rubin thing. These guys they'd put out an album, Love, which was kind of like Love was like 120 minutes kind of material, right?
Like She Sells by the Sea.
Sanctuary, yes.
And then
yes.
Here Comes the Rain.
So
I kind of would have categorized them as like 80s. I don't want to say hair metal, but they were like 80s, like some sort of. I don't know how to use they. I used to, when I would look through like metal magazines, their name would always be in there. Now they didn't have that like hard edge, but they were good songwriters.
Dude. This is so Love. That's the name of the album before this one. The 120 minutes album, as we would call it. That had Sanctuary. That was the big, like you said. So they went into the studio with Rick Rubin, and they put this out. And so I'm dating myself because I'm like 83 years old. So I remember going to see Billy Idol. I think it was like on the Whiplash Smile tour. I'd never seen him, and I wanted to see him, like bucket list. I'll go see him. I've never seen him. But the Cult was opening, and I was like, I want to see those guys. I've never seen them. But Electric wasn't out yet. So all these kids that were there to see them were all thinking, it's going to be like a Love Fest, right? They're going to do all the songs off. They didn't play anything off of Love. They played all the Electric songs, and those kids were so mad. That album, that is a serious, hard rock album. Like, you can put it on and listen to it from beginning to end. The worst song on there they have is a cover of Born to Be Wild, and it's still a pretty good cover, but it's unnecessary. But it's so good. Like, the reason they're even popular at all is because of that album, I would say. And then they went on to do Sonic Temple, which they kind of pulled the reins back because I don't think they liked how Rubin pushed the edge with this album. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a pretty hard album. It's good, though. It's really good. Again, one of those things, man, I'll put it on, listen to it anytime. It's just, there's a handful of those. Upper Crust, you guys ever heard of those guys?
No.
No.
Oh, man, huge. So there's these core bands that I love that are like, you wouldn't think of them about them being influences like on Troglodyte. So these guys all dressed up like 17th century lords, which looks pretty ridiculous. Awesome. This is not their best album. This is the only album of theirs that I have on vinyl, though. But very, imagine a harder AC/DC with ridiculous songs. And they're all like, I love them. They just don't get they don't get a lot of love. I don't know. I mean, because I think one of the guys went on to write, he wrote speeches for the Clinton administration, I think. Weird. Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. Dude, I was trying to think of something else. Kiss. I was a big Kiss fan when I was a kid. This is my Kiss like Live 2. That's from when I was a kid. I can't believe this thing's still intact because I listened to it constantly. Not a big live album person, but this was my jam. I mean, really liked. I know Kiss gets lots of love. They don't need my Gene Simmons does not need my money anymore. So, although he would tell you different. Here's a OG. I'm not big on like the. Oh, that's an original. This is an OG Black Sabbath.
Nice.
My cousin, who was a huge influence on my music. He used to have this total lead sled Camaro that he drove around in. It had the license plate that said BLKSAB. Yeah. So he's like, Black Sabbath. You never heard of Black Sabbath? Okay, this is the one I took over to Wilson's. You'll appreciate it. Wilson is the drummer of Troglodyte, Nick. So, and he's got a pretty awesome sound system over at his house. So when he'll like bring over some necrophagia, or that's usually what he tells me to bring. He only tells me to bring necrophagia for some reason. But I said I'm going to bring something over to really like test out your sound system, like push it.
The Judge.
Nice.
Dude.
Nice.
No, it's crazy. Like I get it, but man, you jam this sucker. I mean, the production on this is unreal. Like it. Plus, it's like, dude, the mom was a complete whack job. I don't know if you know anything about the Judds, but I mean, dude, it's nightmarish. Like if you know anything about them, then you can actually have a whole new appreciation for how absolutely ridiculous some of the stuff that they did. Oh, dude, Agony Column.
Never heard of them. Agony Column. Okay. Listen, I'm sorry.
No, I can't. Again, Jeff, Nick, I'm like almost 85. So, okay. So my favorite album of theirs is actually an album called Brave Words and Bloody Knuckles. Never put on vinyl.
Okay.
Never put it on vinyl. But I have God, Guns, and Guts, which is, you can find this one pretty easy. And then they did a live one, which I think was technically, I think this was like a promo thing. It's a promo. But they've got a cover of Mississippi Queen and Brave Words and Bloody Knuckles. You can find this one. That's the only way you can find that particular song on vinyl. Dude, so good. So good. I mean, they're ugly. I saw them play. There was a place in Lawrence called the Outhouse. And I saw them play there one time. Easily the ugliest band I've ever seen in my life. Like so ugly and off-putting. Like when they were setting up, I'm like, I don't think I can sit there and watch this. Like I felt bad. Like have you ever seen that? Like you see these guys setting up and you're like, Jesus, dude, I'm like, you're kind of embarrassed. Like, and you haven't heard a note, but you're like, God, dude, what am I getting ready to see here? And the singer went by the name Devil Chicken. I mean, this is like 2 Strikes, A Foot in the Grave, but so good. If you and you can find Brave Words is I think that it's streaming. You can find it floating around. It's so good, man. So good. That's a favorite of mine. Entombed. I got Love Entombed. I'm not going to bring those out. Little Johnny Paycheck. Anyone?
Johnny Paycheck. Now we're talking. All right. Now we're getting into the show. Finally, an hour in. Who the fuck is Johnny Paycheck?
Has it really been talked, dude? I'll just when you're as old as I am, you just ramble on forever, especially when you got a chance to wear a suit. Love this old outlaw country stuff, and this is probably right at the top, man. Johnny Paycheck was, I mean, he wasn't no joke, dude. I mean, this guy, he'd shoot at his bandmates, and I mean, he was a real deal, man. And this is probably, the one that everybody has, but he's, his catalog of work speaks for himself. He's a great songwriter too, so really like this one, dude. I used to have I had a 45 of. He wrote a song. Big shocker. He got in some trouble. He was in trouble with the IRS, and he wrote a song. And I don't know what happened to all my 45s, but it was a song called "To Hell with the IRS." Oh, dude, it was so good, man. Nobody has that one. The curio of wonders here. Pungent Stench. Do you guys like Pungent Stench at all? You ever talk about this?
Yeah, I don't have that one. I do have the I just saw them last year. Just saw them last year, and I have like whatever the latest thing that they put out a couple years ago.
Oh yeah. It's good. It's good. This one, Amputee. Oh, dude, I love all their stuff, man. I've never seen these guys live, but been caught buttering and For God Your Soul. But this one, for my money, like again, a big Trog influence right here. Just the songwriting. And they take their music dead serious, but when you listen to the lyrics, it's like, I mean, some of it's pretty funny, and this is great. This is a really, really solid album. I don't think they get a lot. I don't think they get a lot of props, man. I really don't. And I know they've had. It's the one guy that plays. I feel like isn't that what it is, Nick? I don't think it's really the whole real band.
It's everybody but one member.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
So like everybody came back except for one guy. So that it's like I can't remember. Like Shrieks performs Pungent Stench or whatever. But
that's you're right.
All the merch was like Pungent Stench and all that. So it is what it is.
Not. I mean, yeah, dude, they're good. I always love them. Man, I don't even know if you can see this. Again, it's the Grave Diggers.
Grave Diggers, yeah.
This is the worst. I hate this. Whatever
like
this is.
Foil cover.
Yeah. I had been looking for one of these for like ever, and I think I think there was a picture disc, not a picture disc guy. Those sound bad, dude. Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
You're right.
And I think they did a picture disc years ago on a record store day. And somebody released this. I think it was
Holy Mountain. Holy Mountain did like a bunch of merch, and I think they had their hands somewhere in the pressing.
They did. I snagged it, dude. I love this, dude. This is great. I again, one of those, and I feel like I used to have. I thought I had the soundtrack. They were on the Demon Knight soundtrack.
Yeah,
I think you guys talked about that.
Yes, we did. Absolutely.
I never heard them. And to me, that's like one of the best songs on that album.
They were a great 90s hip hop band, very underrated, but like that's how I discovered them as well. I was in the 7th grade and they were on the Demon Knight soundtrack, and then the rest is history. Like I think Travis brought that out on his episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's too bad that the rest of their albums aren't as good as that one.
Yeah.
Because that one is stellar, like every track. And then the European version's got an extra song on it, which I think is called "Pass the Shovel," which is a great song. It's like easily one of the best songs, and it's got a horrible, offensive name that I will not say on here. But if you do any searching, you can find the name of this album, and there's a reason probably why you don't see this album anywhere. But it's like a European version, or and they put this one track on there, and it's so good, man. It is so good. It's all good though. It's all good. Jeff, you would love I got to get the office cleaned up and have you over sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. And
there's like Travis cast from the Bundy videos over there.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's nightmarish. My wife, I don't know if she likes it. So.
Well, thank you for being a well-paid attorney and not dropping the names of these offensive. Thank you for being.
I'm not gonna. I got enough problems. When you get as old as me, sometimes you say things and you don't realize it, and I don't want to get anybody in trouble. No, it's a really really solid effort all around. Thanks for letting me like blow the dust off some of these. I mean, I really didn't, because I'm listening. The only thing I didn't show you was my Falco collection. So good, so good. Jeff's like, what?
And record. Well, dude.
Now, I mean, I get it. Everybody comes on and probably talks about, not everybody. Everybody talks about little different things. So I was just trying. That's just stuff I like, man. I listen to. I can't. I mean, I love death metal, and that's kind of my world. But I can't listen to it all.
That's the one thing that I expect the most from guests. Like, I think the majority of our friends that we have on the show are like metalheads or from the metal community. But like, one thing I'd love and hope for is people that bring stuff that's not just metal. So like, you started really strong with those soundtracks, and you got some comedy in there. Then you started breaking out sprinkling some metal throughout there. But that's great. This was a really fun episode. There's some horror movies I'm gonna have to check out now because of you that I've never heard of. Because even though I'm an old man, I haven't heard of everything. So I'm also like in the dark on a lot of this stuff. So
yeah, I mean, they're off the beaten path, some of them. Yeah. But again, like the music is like, like I was looking at some of this stuff here, like the Creepshow soundtrack is amazing. I love that soundtrack, man. It's like, and I didn't realize and it's just organically, I've got tons of soundtracks, man. You start to think, it's like, well, how good would this movie be if the soundtrack wasn't there? It's like, and there's some of them. There's a couple of these Italian movies they've redone soundtracks to, and it's like, yeah, this soundtrack sucks, man. Put the old one back in, whatever. So, but no, that's it, man. Thanks for letting me get the suit on too. I got that in.
Dude, you look so nice. Yeah. I'm so glad that I'm sure your wife is thanking us too.
She's like, what are you doing?
Why are you getting dressed up to be on the internet?
Why not, dude? Why not?
What are you doing?
Leaves an impression, I guess. Thank you so much, guys. Seriously.
Thank you very much, Jeff. I really appreciate it. This was a fun one.
Please keep doing this, because like I said, I've actually watched. I haven't seen every episode, but I'll like a lot of times when I'm in my office, I just pop it up over on my other monitor over here, and I listen to them. And there's been a couple of nice surprises of things that I didn't know about that I've kind of stumbled into. So I thank you for doing this. So
thank you, man. We appreciate that. Jeff, bring this man bring him some stickers next time you see him.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Thank you to our 93-year-old lawyer for doing this show with us tonight. Jeff, always a pleasure to see you. It always
Thanks,
is.
Guys.
Nick, I'll let you close it off because
Yeah, no, thank you. This was an awesome one, some fun stuff. Stick around, we'll chat in a minute here. But thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for tuning in again this week, and we will see you all next week.
All right, see you guys.
And the final thing,